The stars had always been cruel, but they'd never been as naive as the Dravari. Proud, arrogant, certain of their superiority, they thought humans were a nuisance. A primitive species, barely able to reach their own planets, let alone the stars. When the Dravari Council decided to contain humanity, they did so with the smugness of a chef preparing a gourmet dish for vermin. The first Dravari survey ship entered the Sol system. Their calculations said the humans would scatter, beg, plead, surrender. Instead, the ship vanished. Not with a warning flare. Not with a single missile fired. Just silence, then screams, then nothing. On Earth, Captain Elena Royce of the United Earth Defense Task Force sipped her black coffee. Her soldiers called it the Royce Special. A hybrid quantum virus, coded to exploit alien systems the humans didn't even fully understand, had done the impossible, reduced the first Dravari vessel to vapor in under 30 seconds. "Sir," a young officer stammered, "they've launched a retaliation strike." Elena's grin widened, sharp and dangerous. "Let them come. Let them see what humans do when underestimated." The humans were not hiding. They were not begging. They were rewriting the rules of engagement. Every ship, every weapon, every strategy was designed to make the Dravari question everything they thought they knew. Because humanity, in the cold, dark vacuum of space, had one undeniable advantage: they did the unexpected. And the universe was about to learn, in the most brutal way possible, that underestimating humans was a mistake you only made once. Weeks passed, and humanity didn't just survive, they hunted. The Dravari had assumed humans would hide, plead, or surrender. That assumption became their undoing. A Dravari cruiser, 50 times larger than a human destroyer, dropped out of FTL above a human colony on Kepler 442b. The humans didn't run. They didn't hide. They had already prepared. Orbital drones swarmed the skies, tens of thousands of them, each carrying kinetic payloads the size of freight cars. Lieutenant Cade adjusted his helmet, his hands trembling. "Tell me we didn't." Elena Royce's grin cut through the tension. "Oh, we did. And they won't survive the lesson. The bombardment wasn't just force, it was artistry." Hollow projections of Dravari leaders laughing, mocking humanity, flickered across the hulls of incoming ships. Then the warheads struck. One by one, the cruisers shattered. Gravity wells ripped them apart. The few survivors were scooped into escape pods and flung into the void. But it wasn't merely destruction. It was psychological warfare. Human operatives intercepted transmissions, replayed their enemies' boasts, then detonated them mid-transmission. Families, homeworlds, and pride, obliterated in an instant. Scaratith, the Dravari fleet commander, screamed into comm channels, disbelief coding every word. They are monsters." "They're humans," Elena replied softly, almost proud. "And that's the difference." By the time the Dravari realized it, humanity had already rewritten the rules of war. They weren't just fighters. They were predators. And every predator knows one thing: never let your prey think they're safe. The real twist wasn't in firepower. It was in strategy. Humanity understood something no other species had. Morality could be a weapon. The Dravari fleet had regrouped near their homeworld, expecting a frontal assault. They expected attrition. What they didn't expect was precision terror. Human emissaries appeared aboard Dravari stations as holograms, calm, composed, almost eerily polite. Captain Elena Royce's projection smiled. "We come in peace," she said. "We only ask one thing: obedience. Or extinction." The Dravari laughed. They always laugh. Until screams replaced it. For each mocking transmission, humans deployed nanite swarms, swarming through systems, infiltrating neural pathways, inducing instantaneous panic, pain, and chaos. Ships collided, fleets dissolved, commanders screamed helplessly as their brains betrayed them. Scaratith, cornered on what remained of his flagship, faced Elena's projection. His voice shook. "This cannot be. Humans cannot. They already are, Elena interrupted, ice in her tone. We adapt. We survive. We dominate. The last species that thought they could challenge us? They ended up as an example. Nanites coursed through his body, paralyzing every command center, every synapse. His final thought was bitter, terrifying, and painfully human. We underestimated them. The Dravari Empire, proud, cunning, invincible in their own eyes, had been undone not by numbers, not by brute force, but by the sheer audacity, brilliance, and cruelty of human strategy. And humanity didn't stop to gloat. They simply waited, letting the silence of space amplify their victory. When the dust settled, humanity stood not on the ashes of war, but on the monument of their own cunning. The Dravari were gone, not a fleet, not a homeworld, not even a whisper in galactic politics. Yet humans did not celebrate with fireworks or triumphant speeches. Victory was quieter than that. Captain Elena Royce stared at the starlight, watching faint remnants of Dravari ships drift into the void. Victory isn't about death, she said softly to Lieutenant Cade. It's about proof. Proof that underestimating us is fatal. Cade nodded, a rare, wry smile breaking through his exhaustion. Do you think the rest of the galaxy is watching? They are, Elena replied. And they'll remember. Every species, every council, every empire will remember what happened to the last species foolish enough to think humans could be contained. Humanity's expansion continued, not as conquerors, but as an inevitable force. Across the stars, whispers began. Stories of humans who could survive anything, strike anywhere, and retaliate with cunning bordering on madness. Stories that carried a warning: never mistake humans for weaklings. The last species that challenged humanity hadn't just been defeated, they had been erased from history by the sheer audacity, brilliance, and brutality of human ingenuity. Because humans were never just a species, they were an event, and the galaxy would never forget it,